Mad God by Corty. Chapter 1. Prologue. It was a sunny and warm spring afternoon. The blue sky was dotted with small patches of white, fluffy clouds drifting about, without a care of the happenings on the ground or above the heavens. The soft winds gently pushed them around, as they also caressed the trees' leaves below, and the faces of children playing on the lush fields. Peddlers traveled the dirt roads. Farmers worked in their lords' fields. In the big cities, people shuffled around like busy ants, while guards were yawning, standing on the walls, and leaning on their pikes like bored statues of false vigilance. Ministers indulged in their maidservants' bosoms, even before the night had fallen, while the same was happening next to the dock's red light districts, where the huge docked cargo ship's sailors were having fun. It was their most beloved pastime, before heading back to the endless blue fields, maybe never coming back to shore after leaving. This day was the same as every other before it. For the world up in the north, a blizzard was waging its never-ending war with the mountain rocks. In the west, the endless dunes were trying to gobble up the horizon. Somewhere on the eastern steppes, two tribes were waging a bloody battle, and the fields were soaked with the blood of men and horses by the thousands. That's when it happened. It wasn't loud, it wasn't powerful. It was like someone tearing up a sheet of paper. Soft, quiet, unimportant, but everyone heard it. Bugs stopped moving. Birds ceased their constant singing. A wolf pack was just about to hunt down their prey, but they stopped in their track as if being frozen in place. The waves on the ocean seemed to stop. It became calm, like the surface of a giant mirror. The battle on the steppes quickly halted, and the moaning of the injured under their dead horses ceased, as they couldn't let out even a whimper. Even the most vigorous sailor went limp while looking out the window as their eyes followed the sound to its source. Everyone saw the same. Be it the lord of a country, an emperor of a dynasty, the beggar on the biggest church's steps, or just a cat, lazily soaking up the sun's warmth, lying on a porch. The scene that followed that feeling, no, not feeling, that sensation as it was, felt all around the realm by every living being, deep within their soul. It was beautiful, yet horrifying. No matter where you were standing, if you were born blind, you were seeing it, feeling it. The tear in the sky, it was like two invisible hands tore a giant hole into reality itself, showing what is behind the veil that no mortal's eyes should see. The chaotic space was filled with indigo mists and constant purple and red lightning bolts. At first it was without sound, but not for long. The howling arrived quickly, followed by the otherworldly wind. The wind didn't move any trees or even a blade of grass, but knocked people and animals off their feet, blowing through their flesh, essence, and souls. "What are you doing?" rumbled a shout through the entire realm, deep and coarse, like two metal scraps grinding against each other. "You've gone mad!" Another voice came, feminine, charming, but cold, so cold. "You're always quick to call me that," echoed a reply. It was a cheerful voice, one that carried satisfaction. Above the heavens, where no mortal's eye could see, a man in a long black garment was right below the tear in the sky. His white hair was hanging loosely behind his back. His red eyes were calm and collected, like nothing was happening to him. His hands were hanging beside him, useless and torn, while his golden-purple blood was slowly dripping down his fingers. Before those precious drops could fall downwards, the tear above him gobbled them up, defying gravity and the laws of nature. In front of him stood another somewhat skinny man in tight-fitting leather armor. His bald head was decorated with scars. On his back, he wore a battered, rusty sword that looked like it was about to disintegrate any moment. To his left stood a young woman wearing an elegant, long green dress. It covered most of her body, but still, it couldn't hide her almost perfectly shaped, curvy body. Her black, long hair flew freely behind her, while her deep blue, starry eyes were watching him coldly. Soon another pair arrived, wearing severe expressions, walking out of thin air. The man and woman had similar faces, looking no more than 14 years old, both wearing bright red outfits seen on scholars and priests. Their green eyes were shocked. Looking at the tear, their blonde hair danced behind them as their murderous auras arose. How? Why? The young girl asked, but her voice was much older than her look suggested. With my hands, came the clear answer, almost like a joke between family members. You've gone mad, said the young boy, drawing his eyes to the white-haired man, watching him like an executioner would watch his prisoner. Yeah, I heard it before. He just shrugged, then rolled his eyes before scanning them again and giving a wide smile. You're all afraid of what comes next. You would watch the world stag. But he couldn't finish his words as the bald man, moving like lightning, stabbed his rusty sword through his chest. The blade was like a sponge, eating up his blood, not allowing the tear to suck it up. Quick! The green-robed woman shouted, flying past them, towards the tear in the sky as soon as her bold counterpart made his move. The twins followed just a step behind her, forming a triangle around it. Their bodies were emitting bright lights that tried to cover the tear and pull it together, albeit very slowly. It's too late. I tore it open, and now the realm has been blessed. Even if you close it now, the pure energy behind the sky will seep into the world. Nobody said anything. The bald man held the sword firmly while the white-haired man's skin started to crack and dry up. He did nothing to stop it from happening. The other three seemed like they were going to be able to patch the sky as the tear was slowly closing, but every one of them felt that he was right. It would never be the same. The chaotic energy was still blowing through the tear, washing the realm repeatedly. Some people were getting back to their feet after the initial wave, but others were clutching their heads or their stomach, moaning. They felt as if millions of animals were stampeding through their veins. Animals were groaning, howling around the world, feeling the same, and trees swaying without wind, their roots growing dozens of meters by the minute. Fishes under the ocean started swimming in weird formations, while their previously glossy eyes were now filled with actual intelligence. You can call me mad. I'll take that title and make it my own then, the white-haired man said, looking into the tear that slowly was closing thanks to the effort of the three. Shut up. The bald one groaned, twisting his blade in his chest, but the only reaction he got was a wide grin, while he slowly raised his bloody hand. "We were gods for eons. I ascended after all of you. Yet it was still so long ago, I forgot how the world looked when I was still walking in it. You are content. You are happy to keep up the balance and wallow in mediocrity. Ugh. What? Twisting it again because I'm right?" He laughed mockingly, and his red eyes started to glow much brighter. In turn, the bald man's eyes became more severe than before. He decisively pulled out his sword, teleporting backward, while the dried-up skin on the white-haired man started to crack and glow. It was quickly causing similar cracks to appear around him in space. It wasn't the same as the tear in the sky, but those wound-like cracks were still terrifying, even to the gods. You call yourself gods, gods that sealed the realm, stripped it from its energy, gobbling it up by yourselves, so that you stop the birth of more of us. Don't you dare call yourself the same as the US, the green-clothed lady barked at him while they were still closing up the sky, and the tear was getting smaller and smaller. Their faces were pale, and their clothes were getting soaked by sweat. They no longer remembered these feelings that appeared in their minds. Supposedly, only mortals were affected by it. But now, it washed over them as they hoped to fix something that could not be restored. Yes, I'm mad, I know. And I'll gladly be mad one more time. You suppress even your factions, planting false hope in them, but not letting anyone reach our level anymore. You fear others will appear. You fear they will be stronger. Good. Remember that feeling, because from now on, in just a few eons later, gods will rise, and then they will reopen the sky to go further than any of us," he said while he started to laugh and had placed his hands on his chest. "Stop!" They screamed almost instantly, but everything happened in a flash. He jabbed his fingers into the hole in his chest, tearing it apart, while laughing so loudly it sounded like a thunderstorm from beyond the heavens. The tear that had just been patched up trembled, and a thin, golden-purple bloodline formed between it and his chest, more precisely between it and his god crystal inside his chest, while his voice traveled around the realm, ringing in every living being's soul. "My name is the Mad God. I opened the path for you. Now walk on it. Stand up and start walking. Because it's..." His voice became fainter and fainter, and his body started to fall apart. His god crystal was getting brighter and brighter, illuminating the whole realm and even the earth underground. Fun. The crystal, fed by the energy beyond the sky, reached its limit and shone brighter than anything for a second before going out like a candle that a pinch of one's fingers had snuffed out. The bloodline between it and the tear broke up while the god crystal vanished like it never even existed. The quartet of gods was standing, watching each other, not speaking, not moving, and not even thinking. Their minds were empty, filled with one emotion, an emotion they felt vanquished so long ago. Fear. Fear of the unknown. On a snow-covered peak, 3 youngsters stood somewhere in the northern mountains, between 16 to 17 years old, 2 men and a woman. All 3 wore coarse clothes from animal skin, typical for the tribes in the mountain range. But if someone looked at them closely, They could tell their skin was too perfect, without a blemish, their chestnut hair silky and smooth, and their brown eyes filled with vitality and power. "Master did it," said the girl with a soft, happy voice that would enchant anybody. "A new era is upon us." "Yes," nodded the other two simultaneously, wearing smiles on their faces. "We need to be ready when Master comes back." "We will wait, no matter how long. We still have a lot of work to do, but we must be careful. Those four will watch everything, but Master was right. The energy behind the sky is something even gods can't see through," said the youngest-looking boy, raising his hand, which glowed with light, purple-like energy before fading. They took a last look at the sky before all three vanished. Chapter 2. Reborn. The bluish-white thunderbolts rumbled through the night sky, illuminating the grand city below it with flashes of brilliance. It was the capital city of the Empire of Arthas, named after its first emperor, Arthas the Conqueror. 600 years after the calamity, he rose to power as a son of a small city-state in the southern region of the continent of Dalhern. He was one of the first cultivators in the area to wield power never seen before, changing the course of rivers and slaying hundreds with a swing of his halberd. After conquering the neighboring cities, soon ruling over land that spanned around 20 million square kilometers, he established his empire and ruled for 260 years before abdicating the throne to his son, Iarthas II. Since then, the line of successors always bore their forefather's name, calling themselves Iarthas, representing the power of the empire that celebrates its 2000th birthday soon, coming in only 10 years from now. In the grand capital, in the home of the most prestigious general of the empire, the lord of the house was pacing up and down in his mansion's hall. He was anxiously looking out the window, watching the lightning strikes, listening to the thunderstorm. The heroic soldier who led the armies into battle time after time, standing tall and fearless against all odds, now looked like he was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. His tall and sturdy body was bent while he was incessantly fiddling with his maroon-colored silk robe sleeves, almost tearing them apart a few times. His long, curly blonde hair was like a chicken's nest, and his ocean blue eyes were darting to and fro. "Lord Zendar, should I bring a refreshment?" the old white-haired butler asked as he followed him like a shadow. Yeah, that sounds good, Hal." Zendar, the general of the vanguard forces, replied, his voice nervous. "Here, my lord," he said with a small smile, and presented a jug of cold red wine from nowhere. Zendar didn't even ask anything, just grabbed the jug, gulping it down like a man coming back from his tour of the endless dunes of the western desert. "Don't worry, my lord. The lady is strong. She will deliver the baby healthily. If your soldiers saw you now, they wouldn't believe their eyes." "Those idiots wouldn't dare laugh, even then." "Well, you would punish them with running around the city walls naked. So—" Zendar just let out a low chuckle, and his face somewhat became calmer. It seemed Hal's words eased his worrying. This was about his bloodline, his wife, and soon-to-be-born heir. He may have been a soldier, triumphing in more than 100 battles, and commanded the army of the Empire for 30 years now. But still, the last time I felt this way was when I asked for the hand of Anya. No, this is even worse. He sighed loudly, grabbing his hair, almost pulling multiple chunks of it off of his head. Ahem, Hal warned him with a soft cough. Yes, no cursing around the baby. I know, I promised Anya that our child won't inherit too much from me. Came another sigh. But what takes this long? It's been what, 6 hours? 3.5, my lord. Huh? Bulbul. No way. That was when a lightning strike came crashing down right onto the manor itself, triggering its defensive formation that instantly covered the whole estate like an indigo-colored glass dome. This would be the perfect weather to cultivate if I could concentrate. My lord, if you would try now, I'm sure you would perish with your current state of mind. Zendar didn't respond to his butler and just watched the formation blocking off the might of the heavens. After the lightning strike dissipated, the dome itself slowly became invisible again. After my child has grown up and taken my place, I shall try it. The lady would not agree. Everyone who starts walking on this road is destined to face tribulations. I can feel mine is coming. I can put it off until my heir is of age, but not longer. Anya should understand this too. Understood, my lord. Good, and don't bury me so soon. Godspeed, Godspeed something. I'm still just past 60, and if the Emperor can do it, why the heavens I could not. Please watch your tongue, my lord. The Emperor's ear hears many things. Ha! He still owes me his life 3 times over. For his lord's words, Hal just shook his head and wanted to say something. But the double door at the end of the hallway suddenly opened, and Zendar almost bit his tongue. The old midwife stood there, wiping her hands with the towel, and with a warm smile on her aging, wrinkled face. Congratulations, my lord. She's a healthy girl. Zendar just laughed loudly, storming into the room, laying his eyes on his wife, who looked frail, pale, and exhausted. But her violet eyes sparkled and showed never-before-seen the happiness on her face. Her eyes were open, shining in a purple hue, looking around like a curious little puppy, not even crying. Her silver hair was sticky with sweat. She breathed quickly and heavily, while a new little life was lying quietly in her hands. Look, dear, she looks just like me. She was finally a mother now, and not just the wife of a general. Thank God, I was afraid our child would take after you, Anya said with a weak voice. As long as she inherited your looks and my brain, everything will be fine. Zendar laughed as he sat down on the edge of the bed, kissing his wife's forehead and then his child's. Ha! It would be a catastrophe. It seemed the little one was blinking her eyes hard, trying to understand her parents' words as she looked up at them, but soon gave up and turned her head towards her mother's bosom, soon closing her eyes and entirely focusing on eating her first dinner. How are you feeling? Zendar whispered, stroking Anya's head gently, running his fingers through her hair. Exhausted, more so than after the wedding night. Ren took her time coming out. She's as naughty as her father. Ren, you already named her. Why not? We had an agreement. I name her if she's a girl, you if she's not. Ah, true. Ren, it is then. Ren slowly opened her eyes again, but not her mouth, as she was still suckling as hard as she could, looking up at her parents. And when Zendar gently stroked her head, she just closed her eyes again, enjoying her parents' warmth. Ren. Ren it is, this taste filled with energy. How hungry she is. It looks like her appetite came from you. Anya giggled, holding her daughter close. Are you sure about that? What are you implying? Anya's mood darkened instantly, but little Ren did not bother with her parents' antics anymore and solely concentrated on drinking her mother's milk. It worked. A mortal with this much energy. No, she can't be considered a mere mortal anymore. Good. Good. I need to learn how much time has passed. Ha ha ha, this is going to be fun. Look, dear, she's smiling. I had the same expression a few nights ago. Zendar nodded, scratching his chin. Can you, just for 1 hour, be normal? Anya said, rolling her eyes around, while her husband couldn't wipe off his grin from his face, watching the two most important people in his life. The rumbling thunderstorm slowly died down, and the dark clouds disappeared, giving way to the 2 moons, whose bluish light shined down onto the capital, which was shaken up the next day by the news from the general's mansion. Chapter 3. A Mad Father. The first rays of the sun just shone through the windows, illuminating the spacious bedroom. The walls were decorated by tall bookshelves reaching up to the ceiling, and the marble floor tiles were crafted to give out the symbol of a golden dragon. A man looking around 30 with long jet-black hair and sapphire eyes was just standing up from the 4-person bed. His body was defined and well-built, and as he put on a golden-white silk robe, his aura gave off a domineering feeling without consciously releasing it. He slowly walked towards the window, pulling the silk curtains away and taking in the view of the city, breathing in the morning air with the flavor of fresh, rain-soaked pastures. Behind him on the bed, a frail silhouette moved, pulling up the white blanket over her naked torso, stretching her limbs under it in a relaxed fashion, giving off satisfied, soft moans. Is it a boy or a girl? He asked, and a voice from nowhere answered. At first, it scared the young woman on the bed, stopping her from moving, even forgetting to take a breath, like when an animal felt the presence of a dangerous predator. A girl. Good. Enact the plan accordingly. As you order, my emperor. When the presence was gone, Aerthus IX flashed a satisfied smile before closing the window and climbing back to his bed. And soon, happy giggling echoed out of the Emperor's chamber. What did you say, Hal? Zendar roared, slamming his hand on the breakfast table, almost breaking it into pieces, standing up, blowing hot air out of his nose, while his aura surged like a flooding river. Dear, calm down. You are scaring Ren, Anya said in a slightly aggrieved tone, holding her daughter close to her chest. But Ren was interested in watching them, more precisely, her father's reaction. The announcement came from the palace right after we announced Lady Ren's birth to the public. That horny Zen, Anya interrupted him immediately before he could finish. Sk, that slimy Zendar, not in front of the child. But he is. She's not a day old, and that harem lover is already engaging her with his youngest son. What goes through his head besides getting into his maid's panties. This is still one of the better outcomes. Hal spoke up, silencing his master. Still, it's too soon. Zendar bit into his lips. Yes, it is, but at least She's safe, Anya whispered, kissing Ren's head. Both of us know that the imperial power is absolute, and it does not allow competition. Like I care about ruling the empire, too much hassle. And he also knows this. For crying out loud, we grew up together. I helped him against his brother to successfully claim the throne. My lord, this is still just an engagement, not marriage. We can use this to gain time and let Lady Ren grow up safe and sound. But how dare he? Zendar fumed, unable to release his anger. Calm down, Zen, Anya said while she stood up and walked to her husband's side. She was tiptoeing to reach his face and gave a sweet, small peck on his lips that, like a fairy's wand, made his anger disappear, like it was never there before. The fourth Prince Lenore is only 2 years old. How can you always stay so calm? Zendar sighed, hugging his wife and daughter. Someone has to balance you out, no? Anya giggled. Anyway, it's still a long time until this comes into effect. And even if they marry in the future, your daughter will be a princess or a queen, and then maybe the mother of the next Earthus. Huh? My dear mother, where were you raised? Honestly, if that Airpuss, or what is his name, would hear you, I think he would change his course of action. Anyway, who said I would be interested in ruling an empire? Father is right. It's boring and headache-inducing. Roaming the world and exploring the unknown is much more fun. If my daughter doesn't want to marry his son, nobody can make her do it. Not even him? Zendar said, looking at Ren, who was still immersed in her little inner monologue while ignoring her parents. Yes, yes. We will talk about it when the day comes. Now sit down and let's finish our breakfast. After that, we need to bring little Ren to the palace to be seen by the Emperor, and then blessed at the Church of Nelia. Nelia? Ren asked in her head as she looked up at her mother, and her reaction to the name caught her parents' attention. Hey, I was thinking, isn't she a little off? I mean, my dear, Zendar said quickly after seeing his wife's darkening expression as soon as he started speaking. I mean, she doesn't cry, and when we talk, she just listens, looking at us. Sometimes I swear I feel like she understands us. As much as you talk, I wouldn't be surprised. While she was still in my tummy, you talked her ears off. Who was the one who was lying next to my stomach every night, reading fables, huh? True. At least, I learned the language before coming out. Thanks, Dad, but you never mentioned Nelia. So this is her territory? Oh my. This is going to be interesting. Maybe you're right. Zendar nodded. Look at her. Her little eyes are moving like yours when you think about something. Of course, she is just as smart as her mother, Anya said proudly, holding Ren closer to her bosom. But enough. Let's get back to breakfast. Ahaha! Congratulations, my friend. The Emperor laughed happily, while Zendar and Anya kneeled before him under the steps of the golden throne. Ren was lying in her mother's arms, looking up at the golden-robed man sitting above them, looking down. and it awoke a similar, long-forgotten feeling in her. Huh. This feels familiar. This was the same feeling I had when I stepped on that road so long ago. Oh? Look, she smiles at me. Ha ha ha. Oh my, oh my. The Emperor clapped happily, waving at the newborn baby with a gentle smile. Every subject would feel happy when meeting with their Emperor, Anya said while holding her daughter closer to herself, not raising her head. I guess so. Anyway, you already received the Imperial Edict, so I won't take your time anymore, but sometimes please do come over. It was so long ago, Zendar, that we had a night out. Yeah, the last time we did hang out, you ended up with 2 new harem members, and I was left there with 1 or 2 broken ribs, Zendar murmured, and some Imperial guards in the throne room flinched at his comment while Anya kneeled there motionless. Wahahaha, true, those were the days. Come on. We have known each other for what, 60 years now? Even if I became the Emperor, I'm still your friend in public. You may act like this, but we are alone here. Come, raise your head and look at me. Anya tried to look at her husband, but Zendar slowly raised his head, looking up at Arthas the Ninth. Thought so. No wonder I've felt like this since morning. I knew someone was uttering my name over and over again. Is it because of marriage? Arthas the Ninth sighed softly. Engagement. It's not a marriage yet. Geez, relax, Zendar. It's not like I asked for your newborn's hand for myself. Just as he said that, the whole palace started to shake, and Zendar's hair was dancing behind him like a furious lion's mane. The guards readied their pikes, taking a semicircle around them, but Arthas waved at them while he stood up from the throne. You're still quick to light your fuse, my friend. How do you manage him? He asked, while looking down at Anya. He is a good husband, my lord. I see. What threshold are you at? The question rang out between the jade pillars of the still-shaking palace, and Ren was looking at her father with bright eyes, trying to feel his billowing aura, even though Zendar made sure Anya and Ren were safe from his powers. It seems like father has almost finished refining his body, and just needs to open up his... Wait. No, this is weird. This shouldn't be the case. He's leaking energy from his body. He shouldn't have any stored inside if he has not opened up his spirit yet. And you couldn't open up your mind if your body weren't ready to withstand it. It was the first time Anya saw her baby furrow her thin eyebrows, while the little one looked up at Arthas. Her husband's words from morning rang inside her head. Looking at her daughter, she was amazed by the reaction, but Ren completely missed this, as she was focused on the Emperor. It looks like the change is bigger than I anticipated. They cultivate in a different system than I did. They already have energy inside their bodies before finishing their own transformation. And this energy is much purer. It carries the scent of raw, pure power. Good. No wonder they devised a different system. Oh my, I can't wait to start again. It was that moment when Zendar answered, not with words, but with a punch. His fist shot out like a thunder strike on a summer day, with the same ferocity and sound. Arthas received the punch with his own, and the sound the 2 meeting fists made was like when someone struck a giant bell with the might of a demigod. Anya immediately raised a protective bubble around herself with her powers, neutralizing the incoming force, silently watching her husband and emperor glaring at each other. Ahaha, good Zendar. I expect nothing less from my greatest general. You're a step away from stepping into the harmony realm. Great, you just need to withstand the tribulation from heaven and synchronize your body and spirit. Do that, and our empire shall have another legend born into its ranks. Now I'm entirely sure about the engagement. Fuck you! Zendar's answer was simple, accompanied by a well-placed headbutt right into the Emperor's nose bridge. The whole throne room went silent at that moment. The guards were standing in motion, frozen like ice statues. The only sounds that remained were the Emperor's groaning and Zendar's breathing as he tried to calm himself down. Man, your head is still as hard as a ram's. No wonder you refined that first. Arthas moaned, rubbing his face, cracking his nose back to place, but still wearing a grin. This brings back memories. He sighed, and it had a tinge of lonely nostalgia in it. No harm done, Zendar, he said while signaling the guards to go back to their places, while he patted his general's shoulder before sitting down. Now the much more relaxed Zendar went back to the golden stairs bottom, kneeling next to his wife, keeping his head down, while Arthas acted as if nothing had happened. Interesting. It seems Airpuss is above Father, yet Father's power is more explosive, resulting in that draw. I need to know more about what else has changed. Maybe I can combine it with the old ways and devise another, even better system. It was the first time Ren felt like laughing from her excitement. So when her little giggle echoed in the chamber, everyone was looking at her. Ahaha, it seems your daughter liked the little show we gave her. No wonder knowing who her father is. Arthas the Ninth cracked a grin. My apologies, Lord. I'll talk with my husband when we get home, Anya said. Don't worry about it. And come on, call me by name. I've known you since Zendar started pursuing you. Wasn't it me who played the matchmaker between you two at first? Okay. I'll stop here before all Zengson blows his top again. Court dismissed. Yes. Everyone replied instantly, as they were cut off from any reply by the power of his words. Anya and Zendar just stood up, leaving the palace, and when they were in their carriage, Anya gave a hard twist on Zendar's ear. Yow! Easy. You're gonna tear it off. Dear. Father sounds like a eunuch right now. Yow! What is that? Ren giggled, but Anya was too occupied to notice by clamping down on her husband's hearing apparatus. Consequently, Zendar also focused on not losing one of his body parts. I'm sorry for doing that. I won't do that again. I swear. I told you not to swear in front of our daughter, you big ox, she said, fuming. But her words did draw a spectacular expression from both her husband and daughter. Huh? No swearing. What was that back then? What would you do if her first words were that? You mean so not because, number. That was So awesome, she moaned, leaning closer, then giving a passionate kiss to her husband, even forgetting they were sandwiching their daughter between their bodies. Ugh. Dad! Mom, I'm getting squashed here. Hello? Air. I still need air. Ugh. Chapter 4. A Little Thief. When the general's guards showed up at the temple, people scrambled to steal a glimpse of their newborn child. When Zendar got out of the cart and helped his wife down, people were excitedly trying to look over each other's shoulders to take a peek. It seems like the people very much so love father. Or is it mother? Well, she's an exotic beauty. Now that I look closely, I don't see anyone having the same hair and eyes. Probably she's not a native here. Ren thought as she scanned the crowd from her mother's embrace. Then her eyes were drawn to the giant temple, built entirely from white marble, reflecting the morning light like a sparkling gem. The whole building is only smaller than the palace. Still, I can't see anyone walking up those giant stairs. What a waste of space. When Anya and Zendar started walking up the stairs, no soldier followed them, and the people also just stood at the bottom, looking at them until they disappeared into the entrance. Inside, the air was cool, and a light draft brought the aroma of fresh incense being burnt as they walked towards a statue at the end of the hallway. The walls were decorated with carvings of female silhouettes, all without a face, wearing a long white gown, and at their feet, all had a plaque with only a name and lit incense. Weird. She never bothered too much with faith. She had her virgin followers, but this was never her style. Before she could examine the place more, her parents knelt before the giant statue carved out from a massive piece of jade, standing almost 10 meters tall, looking like they were wearing a similar gown to the others, only in green. The statue's face couldn't be seen. Even if people tried to focus on her face, they couldn't make it out, no matter how hard they tried. Anya started praying for her daughter's well-being and safety. Meanwhile, Zendar kept his head down, kneeling beside her. Ren soon lost interest in the whole place and decided to close her eyes and go back to sleep. She almost drifted off to dreamland when a feeling struck her. Something's not right. There is an energy flow here. But I had never felt something like this. It's different from even the energy from beyond the sky. She looked up again at the statue, trying to see through her face, but could not. Soon she felt her eyes stinging, so she closed them again, trying to ease the sudden nervousness that came over her. What did you do? The question rang in her mind as her parents left the temple, but she knew the answer was still far from her reach. Let's go home, dear. Look at her. She has tears in her eyes, my poor baby. This was too much hassle for her to take in the right in the morning, Anya said, almost on the verge of tears, repeatedly kissing Ren's little head. Yes, let's go, but she's as strong as me, not crying out and taking it in bravely. Shh, my love. Everything is going to be okay, Anya whispered. It's not like I'm crying, it's just I'm too weak. I lost everything, only keeping the core of my soul. If not... But her thoughts were perceived by her mother as sulking. She thought she was unhappy to be put through everything since morning. It made Anya angry about everything. To have this much procedure to go through just because she had a daughter. When they arrived home, she stormed up to their bedroom, ordering her husband to cancel everything in the upcoming months, as she would not appear, even if the emperor summoned her. She was going to focus only on taking care of her daughter. If someone had a problem with it, they could stuff it where it never shines. And she's worried our daughter will learn the wrong things from me. Zendar sighed with a slight smile on his face. Anyway, make some changes, Hal. If it's not about being invaded, I don't want to hear about it. It's time for other officers to step up and not just wait until I wipe their asses. Yes, my lord. Consider it done. It was a calm and clear autumn morning, and Hal had just finished organizing the books in the mansion's library when he heard a quick, swishing sound and only saw a small silhouette whizzing by. It didn't take long until Zendar pushed open the door, looking out of breath and scanning the half-circle-shaped room with the bookshelves, but only saw Hal there. Is it her again, my lord? Where is she? Just let me catch her. I'll spank her so hard that she won't be able to sit on the toilet for the day. I think I saw her by the stables when I looked out the window. Good, the little twerp won't be able to escape again, Zendar said, almost blowing smoke out of his nose while storming out of the library. Thanks, Uncle Hal. A soft, angelic voice whispered after her dad left the room. You stole it again? Hal asked as he turned towards one of the bookshelves, seeing a tiny, pudgy face sticking out from behind it. Her silver-colored hair was worn in bunches, and her eyes sparkled with a beautiful purple hue. Tee-hee. Yup, she giggled, holding up a small jade coin that radiated power. And if you looked closely, there were tiny sparks arching over it sometimes. Lady Wren, your father just fears it would affect you negatively. You are still just 5, and playing with something like this is dangerous. Pooh, it won't be. I know how to handle it. Anyway, I'll give it back to him at lunch. It's just fun stealing it from under his nose. Hal didn't know what to say, and just let out a small sigh, shaking his head, but smiling nonetheless, as he was already used to Wren's usual pranks by now. By the time Wren became a year old, she had already started speaking, surprising her parents, and her intellect amazed the general's household. Of course, her mother forbade everyone witnessing it to ever talk about it to others. Soon this list of what Anya considered forbidden to outsiders started to grow. By the age of 2, Wren could read, write, calculate, and memorize most of the books she had access to. By the age of 3, she asked her parents how cultivation worked. At first, they hesitated, but thought it wouldn't do any harm to learn the stories and surface-level theories behind cultivation. But they did not expect that by the age of 5, their daughter would take her first steps on the road of cultivation. How did you take it now? Your father placed it in a box, protected by a seal. It was hard, Uncle. It took me 4 days to figure out the trick, but thanks to that, I learned a lot about how formation locks work. I hope next time that Dad places a stronger one on it. You? My lady, I'm just worried one time this will backfire on you. If it will, there will be you, Dad, and Mom to help me, no? She asked, her eyes blinking like an abandoned puppy's, looking up at Hal. She was wearing her little white dress that had black smudges around, just like her face, as she was scurrying around the mansion while Zendar was chasing her. To her words, Hal couldn't help himself and smiled warmly while patting her little head, taking the coin from her and pocketing it. Go, find your mother. I'll take this back to the Lord. He's... Ren giggled while running out from the library, humming a small song along the way. She is halfway there to refine her legs. Zendar appeared like a spectre next to Hal, watching the spot where Ren stood a second ago. Yes, and it seems she's already solidifying her fundamentals to get ready to cultivate her arms next. No wonder her sticky fingers are stealing everything not nailed down in my office. My lord, you and the lady bore a genius. Congratulations. Ha, more like a devil if you ask me. Zendar laughed softly, but I'm a little worried. I don't want my daughter to be deformed. No records tell us what happens to the body if someone infuses it with energy being this young. I would never forgive myself for that. She would do it anyway. If you can't stop her, you need to guide her. I could still seal her spirit and forbid her to train until she aged more. The lord of the mansion crossed his arms. You wouldn't, my lord, Hal said, looking into Zendar's eyes. She's doing what others who are called geniuses do at the age of 12, and she does it at a speed that never fails to amaze me. You are right. I couldn't bring myself to put a seal on her. It's just being a parent, my lord. You would worry for her even when she has already been married off. Don't even bring that up. Zendar moaned loudly as a longer-than-ever sigh came out of his mouth. Soon the prince will turn 8, and now that she is almost 6, I can't turn down the invitation to the prince's birthday party anymore. I'm out of excuses. I'm more worried about the prince, to be frank, my lord. Hal smiled as he gave back the little coin to Zendar. Maybe, he said as he shook his head, then clicked his tongue loudly. This little devil, she absorbed a small amount of energy off of it again. It seems she has the same element of affinity as you, my lord. Maybe. We are still far away from knowing. She needs to go through the coming-of-age ceremony to know what her element will be. Maybe we should do it in advance. Then the whole world will know about it. Not if we do it in secret. Then what? We will be found out when we have to do it again officially. It only works once. We just fake it. Plain and simple, my lord. Fake it, but how? He then looked down at the coin itself and had a new idea. I'll speak about it with Anya. That would be the best, my lord. Sit still, Ren. You look like a little monkey that crawled through the bushes to steal some fruits. Mom, I'm not a monkey, and even if I were, I would be the god of monkeys. Well, you're halfway there, that's for sure. Anya laughed while she bathed her daughter in her room, watching her with eyes filled with deep and never-ending love. Which level are you at? Still just at the beginning of the first? Ren. Oh, okay. Almost at the second. Maybe a month or two. And I'll be able to break through and finish the fundamental strengthening of my legs. Tell me the basic levels. Let me see if you didn't skip any steps. Or you can forget to cultivate, even for a minute, until you have your coming-of-age ceremony. Ha! Okay. The first realm is the body-strengthening realm. The cultivator must draw in energy, circulating it through her body, letting it wash through and strengthen it. She explained, telling back the exact words her mother had taught her. The cultivator chooses the order, but everyone has to do the same. Legs, arms, torso, head. After all, 4 are washed clean with energy. The body has been strengthened, and it also has energy stored inside. She took a deep breath before continuing. After that, you can step into the harmony realm. You need to synchronize your spirit with your own body and withstand the trial from the heavens. After you survive, your spirit will sync with your new body, and you can start practicing spells and store more and more energy within you. So your aim is to be in the harmony realm before you come of age, hmm? Yes, but also no, she answered, immediately and firmly, looking into her mother's eyes. Both you and Father told me those who wish to step into the harmony realm after only 1 refinement are suicidal individuals. Father washed his body 9 times, and you also did it 8 times. I'll do that too. Go to the limit and only then attempt it. If I can do it before that ceremony. Tee-hee. You little imp! Anya laughed, smacking playfully on her daughter's head, then kissed her on the cheek. Dream on, do you think it's that easy? You're still young and naive. Come, let's go. Your father probably calmed down by now. Tee-hee, okay, I want chicken for breakfast. That sounds good. Anya giggled, and mother and daughter walked out of the room with the same type of clothes, moving the same way as if little Ren were her mother's own small reflection. Chapter 5. Just have stronger friends. The sun had long settled, and the moon's silver lights were showering down from the clear night sky onto the capital. Ren was sitting cross-legged on her bed in her room, which she adamantly argued for with her mother. Anya still wanted to sleep with her daughter every night, and she didn't like her idea, but gave in the end. With closed eyes, she let the moonlight fall onto her body, illuminating her silver hair with an otherworldly hue, while her breathing was steady and followed a calm, intense rhythm. This method they came up with wouldn't work back then. Since I let in the energy, it washed the world, filling it up, and it seems the tear still leaks in energy. Not as much as first, but more than enough for everyone to start cultivation, she murmured under her breath, while slowly opening her violet eyes, shining with happiness. Back then, you needed too much determination, and more importantly, luck to even have a chance at body refinement. If I tried to take in the energy that was around us, it would be like drinking poison without building up your foundations first. It was suicide. When she stood up and stretched her little legs, they shone in a soft purple hue before returning to normal. People's constitutions have changed. It seems the initial washing when I tore open the sky changed everyone. This new energy, albeit diluted by the world itself, is perfect. Now I can store it and strengthen myself simultaneously, she said, as a smile crept up on her face before sitting down again and continuing cultivation, focusing on her tiny hands. When she took deep breaths, the energy entering her body was guided by her spirit to circulate in her arms until her muscles and bones had absorbed everything before sending another wave at them, like how the rain nurtures the soil. It was a slow process, but Ren knew it shouldn't be rushed. The only thing that was something she couldn't put her finger on yet was the faint, numbing feeling she got every time she cultivated. It was as if little bubbles would tickle her veins from the inside when she guided the energy through them. At first it was worrying, but after rounds and rounds of cultivation, she didn't find anything strange with her body. She knew it must be something new that the change brought with itself. This feeling is as strong as when I started with my legs. It must be related to the energy itself. I need to ask Mother about this. If I ask Father, he would surely talk my ear off why I didn't say so sooner, she whispered while she played with her hair, looking out the window. I wonder how different that new harmony realm is from back then, and what levels are beyond it. Airpuss is at that level, but when Father headbutted him, he didn't seem much stronger. I'm pretty sure he was only at the beginning levels, so that means there should be other harmony experts behind him, or Father would just need to band together with others, overthrowing him. Maybe the old emperors are still around, but they just don't show themselves. Sounds logical if what I read is correct. After reaching harmony, the life expectancy goes up by the hundreds. And it's still not near the thousands or 100,000s of the old demigod stages. I'll need to see them fight to infer more. Anyway, let's focus on me first and let fate take its course. After breakfast, Ren followed her mother to the garden for her usual hobby, tending to the flowers. You need to be careful not to hurt the roots when changing their spot, my dear, Anya said while holding her daughter's fingers. Mom, do you also have a tingling feeling when you cultivate? Her question came out of the blue, and for a second, Anya's hand trembled while her brows furrowed a little. What kind of sensation was it? It's like if little bubbles flowed through me. It's not painful or anything. I just don't know what it means. Am I doing something wrong? It sounds like your father's... Dad's? Dad's what? Everyone is born with an affinity towards an element. It defines what kind of power they will have when reaching the harmony stage. Of course, it has its subtle effect before that too, but it mostly shows when someone reaches that state and starts using spells. You mean like those who can summon rain to have water affinity? Yes. Anya smiled and gently stroked Ren's hair. Your father has an affinity with lightning. I have a water affinity. That's why your father's fighting style is quick and impactful. He always strikes at full force and doesn't know how to hold back. To be precise, he can't hold back, or he would suffer a backlash. Oh, you never told me about this. Because you're still young. This would only come up when you have your coming-of-age ceremony to see what affinity you have. Jeez. Then if both of you reach harmony, would you be able to form a thunderstorm? Her question stunned Anya, because it was exactly what her master had said before their wedding. Yes, if we are in sync, we could do that. It would boost both of us, and it wouldn't be just adding 1 + 1 together. That's so cool. So you say I have the same affinity as Dad? Can we confirm it? Do I need to modify how I cultivate? No, you don't need to do anything. It won't show itself yet. Maybe it would show after you've finished refining every part of your body twice or thrice. If your affinity is lightning, you would be faster than others. What about Emperor Arthas? He is a special one, Zendar said, who just walked into the garden, holding his hands behind his back. He has the bloodline of his ancestors, and his affinity is life energy. It doesn't grant any special strength or speed boost, but he is one hard son of a Zen language. So he is hard to beat. He regenerates like a monster and has abundant energy. That's why he is such a womanizer. He can't control his rod. Not before the child, you pig, Anya screeched, putting her hands on Ren's ears. Moom, you are squishing my head. Anyway, Arthas can outlast most people in battle and survive wounds others deem fatal. He's also able to tap into your energy if you let him enter you and... Thwack. Yo, I'm so sorry. No, let it go. Dear, you're going to tear it out. Zendar screamed as his wife grabbed his long blonde hair and pulled him down to the ground, forming a chokehold around his neck with her legs, while pulling his hair upwards. I'll give you a new monk-like hairstyle, you big ox. What are you talking about before Ren? You should just go and cut that thing off between your legs. Maybe then you could think before speaking. No, please, it was a mistake, not my hair. Ren, please speak to your mother. Mom? Yes, dear? This is how you and Dad make a little sister for me, she asked innocently, looking at her parents. But inside, she almost couldn't keep back her laugh, especially seeing their reaction. I may have lived for a long time before, but I only kept hazy memories about my early life. I don't even remember who my parents were. It's going to be different now. I'll make sure of that. Anya quickly released Zendar and stood up, dusting off her clothes, looking a little bit embarrassed, while Zendar was checking his head for bald spots, sighing with relief. He felt none. No, my dear, your father just sometimes needs a check in the head. Oh, I see. Okay. Ren, you want a sibling? Zendar grinned, looking at his wife, who turned a little bit redder by the question, only that her eyes were watching Ren's reactions. I wouldn't mind. I would be a good sister. Wahaha. Do you hear that? It seems we have our work cut out for us now. Dream on, Anya said, rolling her eyes. It took 10 years of trying so Ren could be born. Hey, who says it would retake another 10 years? It may only be 5! Enough, we will talk about this after dinner. Why did you even come here? Shouldn't you be at the meeting in the palace? It was boring. I left. I rushed home to see my beautiful wife and child. Out with it. Why did you skip the meeting? Anya placed her hands on her hips. Here. Zendar sighed and put forward his hand, showing a milky white jade piece the size of an acorn. An element shard? Anya asked, furrowing her brows together. We already discussed it with Hal. We will do Ren's coming-of-age ceremony, determining her affinity. She advances too fast. If we delay it, it may have an adverse effect. But after using the shard, her affinity will solidify, and she can't use another. When we hold her ceremony, everyone will know about it. Not if we prepare a fake shard. I already prepared a dummy. We will fill it up with the same force she has and present it to the public then. Why? Came a sudden question from Ren herself. Why what, my dear? They looked down at her, both of her parents. Why would you want to hide me? Her question was innocent and pure, but also filled with genuine confusion. Because, Anya tried to answer, but her daughter cut her off. Do you think the Emperor will assassinate me? Anya looked at her husband, who closed his eyes, thinking silently before shaking his head. Number? He would make sure your marriage happens with the prince, and you give birth to his grandson who will bear his name. That's good. Then, why hide me? Are there rival families with us? Would they do something? There are, but they couldn't. Hal's voice appeared suddenly as he stepped out from nowhere, standing behind Ren, smiling down at her. I'm always close and protecting you, young lady. Tee-hee, I knew it. Ren laughed with the voice of an angel. So, what else? Should I be afraid of the rival princes? They could pose a threat, yes, Anya said with a serious face. But if I show my value to the Emperor, he would also protect me and make my soon-to-be husband, the Crown Prince. Not a problem. And without rain, no plants grow. What else? The neighboring countries? To be honest, I haven't read any books on them yet. Are they a problem? Zendar's and Hal's eyes started to glow mysteriously as they listened to Ren and couldn't believe what they were hearing was coming out of the mouth of a 5-year-old girl, while Anya's face bore a sad smile when she mentioned the neighboring countries. Maybe. Thanks to the northern forest and the demons inhabiting it, the situation is stable. The wars we usually have are against the hordes of monsters when they move around and not against each other. Zendar said, looking at his daughter. You are trying to say you don't want to hide but put yourself forward? If I could choose father, I would cultivate at my own pace, not bothering with things like this. Honestly, I'm not interested at all in schemes and other boring things. But I'm the awesome daughter of the best parents in the Empire. Tee-hee, even if I hide away, some trouble would find me sooner or later because of whose cool daughter I am. Ren giggled, winking at her parents. Then why not make myself so important everyone wants to befriend me instead? Problem solved? Really? The young lady inherited the Lord's confidence. Hal laughed, forcing Anya to chuckle too. Ren, Zendar said, kneeling before her, holding her tiny hands. If you want to befriend someone, you will make enemies of others. You can't be friends with everyone. Of course not, Dad. I just need to make stronger friends than enemies, Ren said, hugging her father's neck, planting a kiss on his cheek while he picked her up, and Anya snuggled up to them. Ah ha ha ha. Okay, you little imp. We will do as you wish, don't worry. I'll keep out the troubles until I'm dead. Nobody could hurt you in this country. Don't even say something like that, dear. Never again, Anya whispered, tiptoeing to kiss Zendar's lips, while Ren grinned happily, sitting on her father's arm. Chapter 6. Birthday Party. Ugh, this is so uncomfortable, Ren moaned while her mother dressed her in a white dress and made her hair in 2 lovely little buns held together with violet ribbons. We are going to the prince's birthday party. You can't go willy-nilly, wearing nothing. Still, this dress is hard to move around in, and I don't like the shoes. Me neither, but it's an official event. Like it or not, follow the rules. Ooh, if I become the queen, I'll change the rules. Ren pouted childishly. We'll see about that. Anya laughed, flicking her little forehead. It will be the first time you two meet. You need to leave a good impression. It's not like we're getting married tomorrow. I'm just 5.5, and he just turned 8. True, and sometimes your dad and I completely forget that. Anya sighed. Honestly, you speak and act like an adult most of the time, except when you stir up trouble, left and right. I'm just smarter than my peers, that's all. Ow! Landed another flick on her forehead. More modesty, less preaching. Now come, it's better to arrive early than be late. This will be the first formal meeting and the occasion where the engagement is finalized. Your father has been seething since Monday. I just hope he can control himself enough not to cause a scene. Hey, you would like the, ow, Mom! You are getting more and more like your father. Move your legs more, not your mouth, you little twerp, or I'll spank you. Ha! Oh, okay. When the carriage arrived at the palace, the royal guard, in their golden armor, were there to welcome the guests. You should wear something like this more frequently. Anya smiled as she got down the carriage, holding her husband's hand, who now donned a white officer's uniform, decorated with red buttons and a belt, and with the symbol of his military rank and achievements. Still hate it. It sticks to your body after just an hour like a wetsuit. I thought the same, Dad. Ren's voice came as she hopped down from the carriage. Oh, you too. Anya sighed, rolling her eyes before they walked up to the palace's stairs into the assembly hall, which was now changed into a ballroom. Officials and ministers were already there, standing around with a drink in their hands, talking about current policies and happenings in the empire. There were tables all around where the attendants' children were sitting, forming their little groups, talking and laughing while they waited for the arrival of the emperor and the 4th, Prince Lena. When Zendar and his family arrived, the place quieted down a little, mainly because everyone knew the little girl walking between them was named the prince's fiancée as soon as she was born. Everyone became a bit excited if there would be an exciting show to watch when the prince arrived, or if Anya could regulate her husband. If someone brought this up to the face of Zendar, it was like slapping the bottom of a sleeping bear. On the other hand, Ren looked around curiously, mostly checking the food table, curious if she could spot something tasty. But to her disappointment, it was primarily fruits. What kind of birthday party is this? There are no sweets around. She moaned softly. Don't compare yours to his dear. This is a public event. When we celebrate yours, it's only our family's business. Zendar patted her head. Still, at least they could have presented some cookies or something. Ren murmured, clearly disappointed. My. After half a decade, you are finally willing to show your daughter to the public? Came a laughing voice from their left, and a man in his 40s walked towards them in a similar military uniform as Zendar, only his decorations were colored green. His jet-black hair was neatly combed backward, and his short beard had a few gray lines on the sides. He was a bit shorter than Zendar, and the woman walking next to him looked to be in her early 30s, wearing a bright green dress decorated with light turquoise, swirling symbols. Her black hair was tied behind her back, and her brown eyes scanned Anya up and down with subtle jealousy. At least I don't need to go get my kid from the city guards every weekend when he's out partying, Frenar. You know how young boys are. Their blood boils the hottest when they're at that age. Frenar laughed. True, no wonder he is one of the decorated silk pants of the city. Dad, aren't silk pants easy to get dirty? Ren asked with innocence, while Anya held back a chuckle. Oh yes, they are, sweetie. Sadly, they are too sensitive. His dad answered with a grin. I see your parenting is the same as how you handle your troops, Zendar. My vanguards are filled with soldiers, and that's why your archers are filled with backdoor lovers. Everyone knows you used some backdoors in the past, farm boy. The air around them was getting tenser and tenser, but Anya only watched calmly, not interfering with their argument, not even sparing a glance at Frenna's wife. At the same time, Ren blinked her big eyes, trying to figure out what was happening. Farm boy? Was Dad a commoner? I didn't know about that. Well, I never asked, but now that I think about it, I never met my grandparents. Shouldn't I have some? Even Mom never spoke about hers, huh? Now I'm curious. Please, just stop, you two. This is the young prince's night. We shouldn't cause trouble for him. A calming, young male voice arrived behind them, and another officer walked up to them, wearing the same uniform but with blue-colored accessories. He was only in his 20s, at least from the outside. He was charming and dashing with curly blonde hair and aquamarine-colored eyes. Alta. Both of the generals nodded at the same time. Mom, who is it? Ren whispered. He is Ulta, the leader of the defense force. Usually, if an operation occurs, your father is responsible for the offense, Frenar for support, and Alta for defense. In peace times, he is responsible for policing the military. Looks young. Is he a genius? You could call him that, but looks are deceiving. Your father has long passed 80. Even if he never reaches harmony, he still has the same amount of years ahead of him. I understand, Mother, Ren replied. After Alta interfered, the other guests lost interest in the little scuffle between the two generals, and soon everyone returned to their mingling, catching up with other families. Only Ren's family was sitting quietly at a small table, while Anya fed grapes to her daughter, sitting in her lap. Are we not popular amongst the others? Kinda. Zendar nodded while holding a glass of red wine, slowly swirling it. I came from a lowly background. My parents were farmers in the border region before demons slaughtered the village, he said in a plain voice to his daughter. That's when I joined up with the military and met Dermitos. Who is that? Ren asked, as her curiosity exploded with full force, as she had never asked her parents about anything like this. Oh yeah, you still don't know. Ahaha. Zendar laughed while stroking his child's head. It's Aerthus's name, before he ascended the throne and took up the title of Emperor. He was only an officer back then, gaining military experience like most princes. We bonded after hard-fought battles and became brothers, not by blood, but by steel. Your father helped his fight for the throne and rose to general after he ascended. It's a famous tale in the Empire, a citizen climbing the ranks to the highest point. Of course, not all of the others who were born into it took this nicely. It's hard to swallow, but they accepted it, more or less. Anya chimed in. Dad, you're so cool. Ren praised with shining eyes, which prompted Zendar to laugh sheepishly, getting a bit shy, which was as rare as a white raven. I'm sorry about Grandpa and Grandma. Don't worry, sweetie. It happened long ago, and I avenged the village. Mom, what about you? Well, she smiled, looking a bit sad. I was expelled from the family and country for my actions. What? Ren gasped, blinking rapidly. I was the princess of the Empire's eastern neighbor, the Kingdom of 10. The Kingdom of 10? Princess? Our eastern borders, along the Shirt River, are our strongest neighbors, the Kingdom of 10. It is an alliance of 9 regions, all ruled by a powerful family. And they are the vassals of the Norlan lineage, who unified them around 2,000 years ago, near when our empire was born. Of course, if you would ask them, they say there are 9 kingdoms and 9 kings, but everyone knows that is not the case. It was a warring period back then, and they were afraid to be annexed by Aerthus the. In the end, one line rose above the rest. Wait, then I am a princess. In our eyes, yes, Anya said, hugging her and planting a kiss on her head. I was sent here as an alliance offering to marry the then Crown Prince Dermitos. What? What? Ren stuttered as she almost couldn't contain herself from crying out, as this story sparked her fantasy the most. Ah ha ha ha, and your mother wasn't happy about it. She was pretty vocal, too. When I first met her, I was mesmerized immediately. But what about the Emperor? And the marriage? How did you end up with Mom? I ask myself the same question a lot of times. Zendar sighed, smiling at Anya. I still don't know why she fell in love with me. A woman's heart is unpredictable. Anya giggled, looking lovingly at her husband. It wasn't as complicated as you think. Dermitos likes submissive women. I was anything but that, and he didn't want a wife he couldn't control. Damn! Ouch! Mom! Ren yelped as her ear got pulled at. This is your fault, Zensen. I told you not to swear in front of her. She's picking up your bad habit. Mom, go back to the story. Anyway, everyone was thinking about how to annul the marriage. And to be honest, things just snowballed as I got closer to your dad. Finally, when Dermatos ascended the throne and announced I would be wed to the newly appointed general of the vanguard, Zendar. It was a pretty intense period. Yeah, I bet. She rolled her eyes, making Zendar chuckle a little. Your mother made a tough choice, Zendar whispered as he held Anya's hand. She forsook everything to stay with me. She was of direct lineage from the Nowlins, and because of me, she was stripped from her name, her records in the family lineage, and she was forbidden ever to set foot into the kingdom. It was my choice, and I would do it again, Ascension. Zendar didn't speak more, just leaned forwards to give a small kiss on Anya's lips, while Ren watched with apologetic eyes. Mom, sorry I asked. Ah, don't be sorry. I have my own family now. Don't worry, Mom. I'll make them come and beg you to return. Oh, you little. It's not important anymore. What matters is that you have a happy life. Anya giggled, and she wanted to speak more, but the trumpets cut her short, signaling the arrival of the Emperor and the fourth prince. Everyone stood up for the arrival of the royal family. The first who came in was the Emperor, wearing a golden robe with a half-smile on his face. Behind him came a young lady in a golden dress, with loose, black hair, golden eyes, and pale, fair skin, while the young prince walked behind her. He was wearing a white military uniform, similar to Zendar's, held on him with a small golden belt that looked a little bit funny on a young child. But nobody dared to laugh. Lenore was the Emperor's fourth son, while the firstborn and second child were twins. They were already way older by decades. His third brother also had his coming-of-age ceremony years ago. All his brothers were away from the capital, but even if they were not, probably only his eldest would come and congratulate him. He looks a little bit timid, Ren thought as she watched him with a smile, as this was the first time she met with her so-called fiancé. She wasn't wrong. It was clear that Lenore wasn't a fan of walking before everyone like some rare animal. His shoulder-length golden hair was combed backward and held together with a golden band. When his amber-colored eyes met Ren's, the little prince was taken back for a second, but soon he turned away his head, which started to redden a little while following his mother's steps. Thank you, everyone, for coming, Aethys IX said in front of everyone. My youngest son has aged another year. It will soon be his coming-of-age ceremony. Soon he will start taking responsibility, just like his brothers. Which told the underlying message to everyone. The fourth prince was more talented than the third. Please, everyone, when that time comes, look out for him. Aethys IX smiled, and the nobles and officials replied smilingly, one by one, as nobody would dare to say no. Well, before we start the party, why not liven up the place a little more? The Emperor laughed. There are a lot of younglings here. I heard some are even gifted with great talent, like the finance minister's son, who, being only 13, already started cultivating. His words started a round of murmurs and made the minister's chubby face bloom into a smile, while his son beside him looked on proudly. I'd like to see the next generation of my beautiful country. A friendly little spar and demonstration, may be in order. What do you all say? Zendar was furrowing his brows while listening to the Emperor's voice, not knowing if he was doing it deliberately, knowing something, or if this was just a coincidence. Anya also was thinking hard, but that's when they and others heard Ren speaking up, loudly and excitedly. That sounds fun! I want to play too. Chapter 7. Party Crasher. At first there was silence, but soon the whole place was filled with laughter. It seemed Ren didn't mind it, and they weren't wrong about that. Only Zendar's face darkened a lot. But Anya just held his hand, squeezing it, signaling her thoughts. Just don't do anything stupid. My, the Emperor chuckled. We have a little heroine here, it seems, filled with fighting spirit, just like your father, eh? A little pepper. One of the ministers laughed, while most of their sons also looked smilingly at her. What caught Arthas's attention was the silence of her parents. Something started to feel off, and for a second, he looked at Zendar and Anya before his eyes flashed for a brief moment. Well, this is nothing more than a little competition, so the youngsters can have fun, so why not? Arthas said, while laughing. But his decision shocked the other parents. Your Majesty, I don't know if this is a good idea, the finance minister said, stepping forward. She's still just a child. My son, albeit young, he at least started to cultivate. The other children who would participate are even older. Please reconsider, Your Majesty. The voice belonged to the son of one of the star captains of the city guard, a young, 20-year-old, handsome man who was the rising star of his generation, reaching to complete refinements of his whole body by now, only after 2 years of cultivation. This would be too dangerous. Dangerous? Zendar snorted suddenly, and people felt that his voice was followed by electricity cackling. Why? You would try to hurt her? No, you misunderstood us. But it's still... Sparring? With a child? All my respect is yours, General Zendar, but this is preposterous, the young man replied. What is your name, son? Zern, my lord, Zern Unth. So you are the son of Unth. Good. I'll remember you. Zendar nodded, but nobody knew if this spelled good or not for the Unth family, and Zern himself felt a little bit out of air. Easy, everyone. I just suggested this for a little bit of fun. What harm could come out of friendly sparring? Let the young lady participate. Take it as a game, just as she said. Let's just have some fun. Arthas IX quickly eased everyone's nerves. As the Emperor spoke again, nobody dared to raise a protest the second time. Ren was still smiling innocently, slowly hopping up and down next to her parents, as if she was getting ready for a boxing match. Okay, let's start then with a little pipsqueak. Are there any volunteers to be her opponent? Arthas laughed, while Ren hopped onto the quickly cleared floor in front of the Emperor, Empress, and Lenore. I'll do it, Zern said, stepping forward and bowing toward Arthas and then toward Zendar. Don't worry, General Zendar. I swear on my life that it will be nothing but a play. I'll hold you to that, the general replied in a cold voice, while Zern only could twitch the corner of his mouth. Ha! Good evening, Miss Ren, he said as he bowed towards her, and Ren copied him immediately. To you too. This is going to be my first time. Please be gentle. Ren grinned, while others almost choked on their saliva, and Anya elbowed her husband so hard he nearly keeled over. Why? He whispered, trying to keep back his tears. Anya didn't say anything, just stood there as if nothing had happened. But Zendar was afraid the real storm would come when they arrived home. Lenore looked lost and confused, since Ren stood out, especially after her words, as he couldn't tell why the other adults were choking on their breaths. He almost asked his mother about it, but knowing her temperament, decided the best would be to stay silent, as always. She looked so serious, watching her eyes. He did not find it funny, but admirable. Especially the fact that she was able to speak her mind. What? Did I say something wrong? Ren blinked her eyes innocently at the reaction of others who could only shake their heads, sighing at how innocent a child is compared to them. Meanwhile, Ren was secretly laughing as her prankster side was having the time of her life. Nothing, young miss. How would you like to do this? Zern cupped his hands. Easy. We fight. Ren laughed as she started jumping up and down. Miss, that would be inappropriate. No, it won't. Don't be a sissy, came another word from her mouth, rendering everyone speechless, and only one voice echoed through the room. Yow, my ear! Zendar's yelp echoed out, breaking the silence. If you're afraid, then you defend. I attack. Ladies first, no? Ren said, ignoring the background cheering of her parents. I guess. Zern blinked his eyes, trying to stop their twitchings, unsure what to make of the situation. Great. I'll come from your left side. Be ready, okay? I just need to prepare first, she said as she grabbed the skirt of her dress and then pulled hard. Suddenly, everyone quieted down, and even Arthur stood up, watching seriously as what he saw was not something a 5-year-old would be capable of. Ren tore apart her dress so her legs would move more freely and kicked off her little shoes before she exclaimed happily with a grin, I'm coming! The next second, her bare legs shone in somewhat of a violet haze before she disappeared from her spot, arriving to the left of Zern in a blink of an eye. What Zendar and most people on his level saw was like a slow-motion movie. Ren's body was in the air, delivering a kick from the left, aiming precisely at Zern's head, which stood almost thrice the size of hers. Yet the little girl flew through the air as quickly as a crane, wearing an excited grin. No way, the Emperor murmured as his eyes were almost bulging out of his skull. Zern's only luck was that he subconsciously reacted to it. Thanks for the forewarning from Ren, or he may have been too stunned even to put up any defense. He raised his arm to block with just enough time to meet with the small ankle, going for his head. The booming sound of the impact shook up the others, even though it didn't carry much force at Ren's current level. Acha-cha-cha! Ren moaned after landing and jumping backward, flailing around with her leg, which now sported a big red patch. Your arm is pretty hard. Ouch! This hurt more than I thought it would. If I didn't reach the first refinement on them, I would have broken my leg. She laughed a little, shaking her head. How many times did you refine your hands? expected to. Zern stuttered, still not believing what he was seeing, and just looked down at his hand, trembling a little, and it started to swell, where he was kicked. Whoa, and it's this hard? Damn, I'll need to work harder. I just started doing my arms. Ren giggled as she started flailing them again. Let's go for another round, came the angel-like laughing, but for Zern, it was more like the devil's voice. He couldn't retaliate, afraid he would hurt her. Before realizing he was in a pickle, Ren was upon him, moving fast as lightning, always kicking out, aiming for vital points on his body, not being afraid to aim at his most vulnerable spot, which made most of the men in the room shiver. Lenore was mesmerized by what he saw. He couldn't follow what was happening as he only trained in mind, but never tried to cultivate. Or at least when he secretly wanted to meditate, he couldn't convert any energy into his body, even when he felt it surrounding him. But now, he was witnessing a girl, 2 years younger than him, whizzing around and making an adult, more importantly, a young captain of the city guard. Focus on defense. Beautiful, he whispered, but nobody heard him as everyone focused on Ren. Whew. Enough, Ren moaned, landing back at the starting point, tiptoeing from one leg to the other, while both of hers started to swell and turn almost purple. It feels like kicking an iron board over and over again. You win! I can't beat down your defenses yet. Wah! Zern blinked his eyes, while his hands were shaking. Everything was giving his brain a short circuit, and he felt like he couldn't formulate a clear thought. Before anything could come out of his mouth, Ren was already back before her parents as she looked up at them. This was fun, she said with a grin, ear to ear, but her legs finally gave out, and she landed on her bottom. Ouch! Come, come, my poor little angel, does it hurt? Anya said as she picked her up, placing a hand on her little legs, stroking them with healing water, while Ren felt a soothing, cool feeling permeating her skin. Yeah, this is good. I told you, my affinity is water. At my level, I can project it out for short bursts. When we get home, I'll take care of you. You will be jumping around by tomorrow. So don't you worry, she said while showering her with kisses. Zendar was watching them, smiling proudly while looking at the others with a provocative eye before he caught himself and bowed to the Emperor. I beg for your forgiveness, Your Majesty. She is still a child. Please don't be offended by her actions. Yes, sure. He nodded reflexively, but suddenly shook his head. Explain yourself, Zen. What the fuck was that? Ugh! Zendar moaned, as he knew his old friend had shed entirely any pretense of a decent emperor now, not following the protocols. Please don't blame this on me too, he murmured, looking back at his wife. Don't call me that. It gives me the creeps. I gave you that name after you lost your bet to me. So don't give me that face, you idiot. Now EXPLAIN. Well, she's good. No shit, Ethus roared, then looked around everyone. Out, the banquet is over. Zen, you stay. Everyone else, leave. It was such an order, uttered with the force of his cultivation, that everyone felt their ears were ringing. Anya looked worriedly at her husband, but he just shook his head. After she took a look at Arthur's 9, throwing daggers at him from her eyes, She left with Ren. It took only a few minutes, and only Arthas the Ninth and Zendar were in the room, looking at each other. They're going to be afraid of me after the order to leave and speculate what I'll plan on doing. Arthas said, now much more calmly, but the rumors will spread about her. I'll keep it that way. Rumors only. I won't deny it. Also, I won't say it's true. That's the best I can do for you. Thank you. Fuck man, you had a genius of a daughter, eh? The Emperor laughed, patting Zendar's shoulder. Phew, I'm glad I arranged that marriage. Fuck you. You misspoke. It's thank you that you wanted to say, Zendar. That's going to be an extra layer of protection for her. What's with the sour face? Can't you deny it, huh? Ha 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 ha. Damn. He murmured something under his breath. Yeah, whatever. I'll need to urge my son more. You know, your girl just ruined my big reveal. What reveal? Lenore's, to be exact. He is the most talented out of my sons. He just has, well, zero confidence. He's still off a little, true, but he already senses energy when meditating. He just can't get it right yet. Maybe 2 years from now, but damn, little Ren is already ahead of him. And by a lot. Fuck. Well, she is my daughter. Yeah, what do you say? You stay for the night, let the others speculate what's happening, and we drink like in the old days? I need to speak to... By the way, what do you think Anya will say when you get home? Your little girl has the same mouth as you, huh? Fuck. Yeah, drinking sounds good. Can you send a message to Anya? Sure. The Emperor grinned, and soon the two men disappeared from the palace. It was early morning when Ren felt her bed shaking and woke up to the rumbling outside. At first, she thought a storm was brewing, but soon she heard her mother's voice. Come back here, if you are a man. I'm sorry. Zendar pleaded. But soon another loud rumble echoed through the mansion, blowing a giant hole into its wall, while a figure flew out, rolling on the ground, through the garden, and a shadow followed him closely. Ren immediately rushed out, watching them excitedly, as this was the first time she had witnessed a fight at such a level. Her mother's body shimmered in a bluish haze while her silver hair flowed behind her like a raging river. Anya's fighting style was smooth, and her punches and kicks flowed continuously and harmoniously without pause. Every attack carried the momentum and aura of an unstoppable force of nature, blowing up dirt from the ground as she missed her dodging husband. Zendar was also covered in a violet haze, and sparks flew off his feet every time he made a movement, followed by rumbling sounds. Still, he never retaliated against Anya's attack, only defended. Rensu noticed that when her mother got in some punches, both bodies ceased emitting any aura for a split second before resuming their fight. The last time they fought so hard was when your father got drunk after he knew she got pregnant. He was out partying for 2 days. Ha 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 ha. Mom never told me this, Uncle Hal. Of course not. But as you can see, neither of them wants to hurt the other. It's just... I know, don't worry. It's just Mom. She was worried sick the whole night. She almost stormed the palace because Father wasn't coming home. Wait, he didn't send a message? Zendar said, as their conversation was easily overheard by the two. What message? Anya scoffed. That prick, Yao! Zendar screamed as Anya got hold of him, and soon both of them were wrestling on the ground. Finally, when they stopped, Anya got to be on top. She was out of breath, and their clothes were messy and dirty. Anya's eyes were filled with tears. I thought something happened. She sniffed a little. No, nothing. He said he would send a message. It's just... I was so worried. His wife moaned slowly as she started to sob. Don't cry, don't cry. It was my fault, 100%. Shh, don't cry. I'm sorry, Zendar said, hugging his wife, trying to soothe her, kissing her face all over, and soon Anya took over, kissing his lips passionately. Don't do this again, she whispered, while she lay on his chest, still sobbing a little. I won't. Come, you need a bath, Zendar said as he stood up, holding his wife like a princess, soon disappearing from the garden. Well, maybe I'll have a sibling soon, Ren giggled, and Hal could only shake his head while he escorted the little miss back to the mansion. Are you sure this was the correct decision, Your Majesty? A man asked, dressed in tight black clothes that covered all parts of his body. Only his silver-colored eyes were visible, which radiated cold, murderous energy. He was kneeling before Arthas in his bedroom while the morning sun shone in, giving a holy aura to the Emperor, who was sitting on his sofa before the window. Yes, Nameless. Why kill geniuses? Why weaken our empire? I don't see the logic in that. One mountain can't contain two tigers. Bullshit, Arthas roared, standing up before the kneeling man. People like this will strengthen us. If you start eliminating every prodigy who isn't your own blood, you will soon be left with mediocre talent and silk pants. Worse, every talented individual will try to hide or defect to our enemies, bolstering their strength and weakening us. Your logic is flawed. But he is right, came a third voice, and Nameless shivered while Aerthus IX kneeled as a middle-aged man appeared in the room. He was 80% similar to Aerthus IX, only his hair was shorter. Father? Good. You did well, Dermitos. I received your message and relayed it to the Forefather. And he immediately made the same decision as you. Really? Dermitos asked, with a glint in his eyes. Yes. The Forefather said the Empire is just the first step, and he will soon be back from his journey and start on the next phase. Next phase? Nameless and Dermitos asked at the same time. Building a sect? Athos VIII, the previous emperor, smiled, and his smile became wider as he saw the confusion on his son's face. You will know more about it, don't worry. Anyway, the Forefather will be back in the next 20 years or so. So until then, keep up the good work. I'm proud of you. Thank you, Father, Dermitos said before his father, who soon disappeared. We will not have this discussion again, Nameless. Yes, Your Majesty. Don't stop the rumors, but make sure no official statement endorses it. Keep what happened vaguely. Let the people believe what they want. If they start questioning us, deflect it or play it down. As you command. Good, now go. Before he finished, Nameless had already disappeared from the room. Only his aura stayed there, lingering in the air. Oh boy, I already feel a headache coming. The Emperor sighed. Well, what must come will come. No reason to mull over something trivial. Yeah, let's visit my harem first. That will clear my mind, he said laughingly as he left the chamber, humming a happy song, as if nothing had happened. Chapter 8. Tribulation. Where are we? Ren asked, yawning and rubbing her sleepy eyes as she stood next to her mother. A few days after the prince's party, Anya and Zendar took their daughter on a trip outside of the capital one night. It was still before sunrise when they stood at the edge of a big open-pit mine that was spiraling downwards for around 400 meters. We came for two things, Zendar explained. One, we will do your coming-of-age ceremony. Two, I'll attempt to advance, he said with a serious face, while Anya looked at him worriedly, but said nothing. Why do it here? This is an old element shard mine that has been depleted for around 300 years, so nobody will come here and disturb us. Are we going down? It will be a long walk, Ren said, looking down from the edge into the giant, man-made hole. Number, I'll go down after we finish with your ceremony. Anyway, what is this ceremony? You never told me about it. I always just hear of this thing. Here, hold this, Zendar said as he put a shard into Ren's hands. Wah! But her words were stuck in her throat because as soon as she touched the shard, it started to vibrate, and the energy it transmitted into her hands was pure, undiluted, and precisely the same as the one behind the sky. She immediately recognized it and sat down to meditate while holding onto the shard. While she guided the energy through her body, the so-called bubbling feeling in her veins became stronger and stronger, transforming into the sense of electricity running through her. At first it was numbing and a little painful, but soon it eased and became natural, as if it was always a part of her. I see. So somehow the pure energy from back then crystallized. It stimulates my constitution, awakening the dormant energy I inherited from my parents. No wonder I have the same affinity as father. This must be hereditary. Then what about my mother's side? She thought as she tried to feel the energy coursing in her, and soon a faint feeling of water trickling down her spine was felt. Ah, it tickles. It's faint, but it's there. Maybe I could cultivate it later. It won't hurt to try. Did you feel it too? Anya said, whispering to Zendar as they watched over their child. Yes, it was faint, but it was there. She doesn't disappoint. Zendar grinned. She has dual affinities she inherited from both of us. I wonder how strong she will be when she grows up. Stronger than both of us added together. If not, I'll spank her. You always say that, but you couldn't lay a finger on her, ever. Anya chuckled, hugging her husband's waist. I could spank you. You think I wouldn't spank her? He whispered into her ear. Meanie! Soon Ren finished meditating, and the shard in her hand crumpled into fine dust while spewing out violet sparks as she stood up, a little dizzy. That was awesome. I feel stronger already. Dad, do you have another? Ah ha ha ha, easy there, my little champion. Why do you think I could hold it without any reaction? These only work once. Those who went through it can never do the same again. That's why this is an important part of every cultivator's journey. Usually, when you start refining your body, you have your coming-of-age ceremony and make it into an event to show the world your talent. But you are an oddball wren, doing things backward and ahead of time. Foo, 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 I'm just too good. Ouch! Mom! Wren moaned while holding her forehead, which received a hard flick. You little imp! Keep your ego in check. Well, we are done with the easy part. Now comes the hard one. Zendar stretched, and from nowhere, Hal showed up, holding black armor pieces, and helped Zendar put them on. Uncle Hal, when did you get here? I've always been here. Hal, I'll defend the perimeter for you. Just leave it to me, my lord. Anya stood before her husband and gave him a slow, long kiss, not saying anything, only smiling at him before she stepped back, holding Wren's hand as they distanced themselves. Zendar, after wearing his heavy armor, now looking more like a giant war machine than a man, jumped into the air, and his body was cackling with purple lightning bolts. Suddenly, the sky started to darken, and looking up, Wren's eyes became serious as her pupils shrank to the size of a tip of a needle. They could see a faint scar, but Wren knew it was the tear in the sky. Even though it was mended now, it looked like a transparent, old scar that had healed poorly. Zendar's body suddenly resonated with the tear as he was suspended above the mine. Hal's energy vibrated out, and soon the earth moved and erected a giant wall, shielding them from the energy burst coming out of Zendar's body that was now suspended in the air. Whoa! Uncle Hal is a harmony expert? Please don't call me an expert, young lady. I harmonized with my body after only 5 refinements. I couldn't advance further and risk challenging more than 5 strikes. That's why I'm still inferior to your father. That was when the first lightning bolt struck down. It carried the air of pure energy with it, blasting Zendar downwards to the mine, while Hal's earth wall diverted the impact that rumbled outwards. Before Anya could scream out, Zendar's figure rose back up, and he roared and punched out, meeting the second lightning bolt, but was once again sent downwards. Don't worry, Mom, Wren said, holding her mother's hands. It's my dad. He's going to be fine. This is nothing. She giggled to ease her mother's anxiety, but deep inside, she was astonished. The power each bolt brought down from the tear was filled with tremendous energy that would tear apart an average person's body, even before it reached them. This tribulation reminds me of the old days when someone ascended to the demigod status. But how can this be so strong? This could turn out really bad. Don't worry, my lady. As the young lady said, the Lord will be all right. He finished refining his body for the 9th time a long time ago. This was inevitable, and now that the young miss has stepped forward, he can't delay it anymore. Hal said, renewing the earth walls as Zendar's figure flew back up, meeting the next thunderbolt, and the shock wave tore out chunks of Hal's defense once again. His armor was cracked, and some parts fell off and stayed at the bottom of the mine. But every time he was sent down to hell, he rose back up, roaring at the sky, not yielding. The wind was howling, and the scar in the sky was like a wound that oozed out the lightning bolts, striking Zendar's figure repeatedly. He was gritting his teeth every time he was hammered backward by the force of the bolts. But he knew if he stayed down and did not focus on guiding the energy that entered his body every time a lightning bolt struck, he was going to explode and die on the spot. No matter how much it hurt or how tired he felt, if he even stopped for a second, it meant death. When the final 9th lightning strike fell on him, he didn't fall back, but stayed floating above the mine, taking in deep breaths as the sky cleared, and the tear slowly vanished from the morning sky. His armor was falling off of him, piece by piece, revealing his slightly burnt hair and injured skin on his naked torso. Zendar slowly descended, landing on the precipice of the mine, taking some shaky, small steps. But soon he stabilized his footing, and the burned patches of skin on his body started to heal up, visibly. The aura radiating off of him was tremendous, and thundering noises followed every flexing of his muscles. "Congratulations, my lord." Hal bowed, sweating all over, and looking just as exhausted, keeping the wall up for so long. "I've succeeded," Zendar shouted, letting out a long sigh, releasing all the leftover anxiety. And that was when Anya landed on him, bursting into tears. "Ha ha ha, don't cry, don't cry. I told you everything is going to be okay." "Congratulations, father." Ren grinned, looking at them with sparkling eyes. "I can't wait to do that too." "Oh, yes you can. Don't even dream of rushing it." I won't," the little girl promised. And soon both of them were laughing happily while the sun's first morning rays shone on them. "You need to work harder." The voice of Arthas IX came from one of the meditation rooms in the palace. "Yes, father," Lenore replied, who was kneeling before him, half naked, sweating from exhaustion. "Take a little break, wash up and eat breakfast. After that, continue meditating and try to control the energy." "I'll work hard." "You should. Your fiancé is already ahead of you, and not by a small amount." "I can't compare to her father," Lenore whispered as Dermatos mentioned Ren. He looked mesmerized by simply remembering the scene where she was laughing and fighting. "Don't sell yourself short. You are my son. You have the potential to catch up. But until you successfully start cultivating, you can't meet her." "But no buts. I won't let my son be the submissive one. You need to have strength if you wish to stand on equal footing. So work hard," he said laughingly before leaving. "Father is right. I can't be a burden to her," Lenore murmured, and went back to meditating immediately, fired up to succeed even before what the Emperor hoped so. 2 years flashed by, and the news that Zendar reached the Harmony Realm never spread far. Only key officials and officers knew about it. What did spread around instead was the rumor of his daughter's skills, but most of the people just rolled their eyes, as it was too wild to believe that a 5-year-old could cultivate. They took it as spreading false rumors because of what happened with the 4th prince, and because others were not too keen on seeing the affection between the royal and the general's family. Around a year after the rumors started spreading, the palace announced that the fourth prince, aged 9, stepped on the road of cultivation and had his coming-of-age ceremony. It was a celebratory week in the empire, as it was a public event, witnessed by half of the capital. When the young prince saw Wren again, sitting with her parents on the guest podium, his heart started to flutter again, and he felt even more nervous that she was there, witnessing his ceremony. When their eyes met during the event, it seemed she was smiling at him, which made Lenore even more confident to work harder. After another year, he finally completed the first refinement of his legs, subconsciously following the pattern Wren showed. When he received his father's praise, he couldn't be happier, feeling proud of his achievement. "Congratulations, Lenore," came a voice from a jade crystal. "Thank you, eldest brother. When will you come back? I miss you." "Ah, I would like to return, but sadly I can't. For the past few years, we have had more and more small skirmishes against the demon folk in the northern forests. If this keeps up, we will have to mobilize the full force of the military to prepare for another war. I hope it won't happen, but until then, your brothers and I can't come back. We have our duty here. If I reach the second refinement, I may be sent out to help you. That would be great." Whoa, kid, slow it down. We heard you are a pretty fast learner, but no. Even if you do, you would still be too young. Stay home and practice. Your time will come. You don't want to rush into the battlefield. War is not like in the stories told by bards. It's brutal, messy, and deadly. There is no romance on the battlefield, only misery. "Yes, brother," he said with a sheepish voice. "Ahaha, don't feel down. I know you want to help. You're a good boy, Lenore. I'm happy to be your elder brother. Anyway, tell me, are the rumors true about your little fiancée?" "Yes, she's so awesome. You should have seen her." "Oh, so tell me, how are things between you two?" Ah, you never even spoke to her yet, I assume." "Yes," Lenore whispered. "Thought so. You should go out sometimes to play, and you're close in age. It could be fun. Anyway, both of you are still kids, so why not visit the General's family? You should enjoy your childhood while you can." "Oh, that's a good idea, brother. Don't tell me you never thought of it." "Geez, where are your thoughts?" "On improving. Father always makes me train all day." "No wonder. Do what I told you and say hello to General Zendar in my name, okay?" "Will do, brother." "Good. Be a good boy now, Lenore. We will speak again." "Stay safe, brother." As soon as they finished, the voice projecting crystal slowly crumbled to dust, and Lenore sighed softly, still missing his siblings. Still, soon he shook his head and stood up with a resolution in his eyes and rushed out of his room to ask his father to arrange a carriage for tomorrow, as he wished to visit General Zendar's mansion. Chapter 9. First Meeting. When the imperial golden carriage arrived at the general's mansion, it was Anya at the gates, welcoming it, dressed in a sky-blue silk dress. "I'm sorry for the early intrusion, Lady Anya. You shouldn't be out here. The mornings can be chilly this time of the year." Lenore bowed after he got off the carriage. "Please don't say that, Prince Lenore. It's reasonable to welcome your presence personally. Honestly, I'm surprised it took so long for you to visit us." Anya giggled, putting her hand in front of her mouth while watching the fidgeting prince, who wore a fancy white suit. "You're right, Lady Anya. It was my fault. And for that, please accept my apology," he said hurriedly, and bowed again. "Oh, don't worry about it. I'm just teasing you. A prince should not bow so easily to others. Come, come, I'll take you to my daughter." Mentioning Ren, Lenore's face immediately gained a slight hue of red, but he only nodded, silently following her, while signaling to the guards next to the carriage they should stay where they were. As they walked past the mansion to the back garden, shouts could be heard, and soon Lenore's eyes fell upon the small figure flying through the air, landing a kick on a young man's blocking hand. The scene was familiar from what he had seen years ago, and he couldn't help but gulp loudly. On a small circle-shaped training field stood Zern and Ren opposite each other, wearing tight-fitting black training clothes. Zern wore a stoic, calm expression as he blocked Ren's kicks and punches, flying quickly towards him before suddenly moving and sidestepping one of her attacks, landing a blow on her tiny back, which made Ren crash into the ground. Lenore furrowed his brows, but Anya just smiled, watching his reaction. "Ouch, that hurt!" Ren moaned as she stood up, rubbing her forehead, which absorbed the impact of the landing. "Lady Ren, when you feel yourself at a great advantage, you tend to loosen up your defenses and overreach, giving your opponent a chance to counter-strike." "Yeah, I know. It's a bad habit of mine to enjoy the fun of combat and fail to concentrate on the changes in its rhythm." Zern only sighed, as this wasn't the first time his young practice partner knew about her mistake, but still couldn't fix it, even after months of constant training, like a bad habit that integrated itself into her subconsciousness. Since having that match of theirs, Zendar asked him to come by every week and be a sparring partner for his daughter. Since then, he fought with Ren multiple times and noticed the benefits as the little, mischievous daughter of the general always fought dirtily, going for his weak spots. This helped expose what he needed to fix, improving himself significantly. "The young miss has incredible eyes. As soon as I fix something in the way I fight, she immediately adapts and finds something new to fix. So this is what a true genius is," thought Zern admiringly. "Khm." Anya coughed softly. "Lady Anya?" Zern cupped his hands immediately. "Mom? Oh?" Ren rushed forward, and when she saw Lenore, a grin immediately appeared on her face. "Prince." Zern flinched, a little shocked, saluting immediately as he recognized the guest. "Good morning, everyone." Lenore greeted Zern, watching him for a second before turning to Ren and bowing towards her. "Good morning, Lady Ren. My name is Lenore. I've wanted to meet you for a long time. I'm terribly sorry it took so long." Yeah, sure. It's good that you came." Zern had already reached the third refinement on his arms. He can't attack me in full force, or Dad would be mad at him. "Are you still at the first level? No? Let's fight." "Wah, Lady Ren, I just started refining my arms, and I didn't come here to fight you." "Eh? Still not completed it yet? Really? But it's already been a year since you had your ceremony, no? Slow, she said, shaking her little head, completely ignoring the second part. Ren, Anya said scoldingly. You are still at second refining yourself for more than a year now, no? It's because I want to build it up a little more before advancing. Okay, I was rude, sorry. You aren't angry, are you? Ren giggled, grabbing Lenore's hands, and immediately changing the little boy's face to entirely red. I'd never be angry at you, Lady Ren. You're right. Compared to your genius, I am indeed slow. Ah, ha, ha. You know how to give compliments, huh? Anyway, you said your legs are at first refinement, yes? Then attack me. I want to improve my defenses, Ren said, giggling while jumping backward into the ring. Zern, could you help me with something? Let the youngsters play, Anya said, smiling, and soon they were left alone, while Ren waited for Lenore's move, who was a bit flabbergasted, as he didn't expect this at all. What are you waiting for? Ren asked, tilting her head sideways. I didn't prepare for this, Lady Ren. For starters, stop calling me Lady Ren. Just Ren will do. Secondly, come on already. Lenore sighed, helplessly, but more to calm his nerves before going to the small circle and launching a kick toward Ren's side. Slow, came the reply as she blocked it by raising her leg. Then, quickly sweeping away Lenore's, she sent him to the ground with a loud thump. Ugh! The little prince moaned, lying on the ground. Kicking Ren's leg had broken his whole leg. After he stood up, the dirt and grass had already stained his white clothes. Again? Yup. Ren nodded with a devilish grin on her tiny face. I can't have mercy, came the moaning, tired voice of Lenore, who was now lying on the ground with bruised legs and face, gasping for air, while his white attire, now more or less, was brownish-green. Ah, that was fun. Man, you're weak and slow, but father was right. Ren laughed, wiping the sweat off her head while she sat down next to him on the ground. About what? Lenore gasped as he tried to sit up. Your family has life force for affinity, no? You endured much longer than I thought you would. Yahahaha. Ugh. I don't know if I should be happy now or not, and anyway, you are stronger. This was pure bullying. Boo-hoo, I always train myself against Zern. The simple difference between our toughness makes it like hammering against a steel bar, she said while rolling her violet eyes. But you have potential. Your resilience is great. You mean I can be a great punching bag, huh? Lenore smiled wryly. For now, came a giggle as an answer. What do you say if I train you? Huh? What, huh? You heard me. I'm always self-studying. I have some techniques I'd like to test out, and I need a apprentice. Self-made techniques? Are they from your father's instructions? Lenore blinked his eyes, because this was something he had never heard about. Most of the techniques were for harmony-level experts, and not for those still working on refining their bodies. Number? We don't have any techniques. I mean, we have, but those are the same that are available for anyone in the Empire. The Foundation fighting styles of the army and whatnot. Those are... I wouldn't call them martial techniques. I bet your family has some secret fighting skills, no? There are, but they are for the harmony level experts. We don't have anything specific for body refining. I see. I thought father didn't have any because he is of a poor background, and mother didn't teach me anything because of the difference in our affinity. Ren murmured, then added in her mind, even though I am sure they know I have hers too. Then the only explanation then, they didn't develop a complete fighting system yet, and only the foundation of cultivation. Ren? Nothing? I have some ideas after cultivating to the second level. That's why I'm stuck, or I would be at least halfway through the third by now. That fast? Awesome, Lenore said with shining eyes, looking at her. It is! Ren grinned with pride. While I was training, I thought up movesets that utilize the energy running through our refined body parts, releasing that energy. It's still in the works, but I had some achievements after watching father. General Zendar? After he reached harmony, he started to develop his spells. And since then, he has trained like a madman every day. He's out now too. He will only be back tomorrow. Making his own? Of course. What, you want to learn the techniques of your ancestors only? Ren asked, raising her brows. Listen, Lenore, she said while lowering her voice, looking earnestly into his eyes. It's good to learn other skills, but only for reference. If you fancy yourself a genius, or at least someone with ambition, you should work on creating your style and your own spells. Only those will be 100% in sync with you. Only with your skills can you reach a higher state. Others' techniques are good crutches, for starters, but that's it. Those with mediocre talent are fine with learning other skills and using them, but I won't be satisfied with that. Ren declared proudly while standing up, placing her tiny hands on her hip, and while the morning sun was shining on her back, it gave her an otherworldly aura, stunning Lenore. She is so awesome, he thought, completely mesmerized. I'm developing moves that could be useful for those who have lightning affinity and are in the body refinement realm. I'd like to teach you some of it so you can reference it and create your versions for your affinity. You think I could do that? Lenore gulped. Why not? If not, how do you plan on marrying me? She laughed candidly as Lenore's whole face resembled a tomato now. Watch, she said, suddenly taking a deep breath, followed by a bellowing shout as she kicked backward. Her legs shone in violet light, and the air crackled with lightning, following its path, scarring the earth. Ha! Ren sighed, letting out turbid air through her mouth, wobbling a little. I'm still not used to it. It uses up so much energy. That was like a spell or someone at the 8th or 9th level who can manifest their energy out of their bodies. How did you do that? Lenore gawked. I just told you, didn't I? Ren sat down, exhausted, then took out a little coin from her pocket, flashing with electricity as she absorbed its energy. Sorry. You're right. I want to learn. I want to become as strong as you. Good, she smiled while winking at him. I'll need more of my father's coins if I want to finish it, and also teach you how to imitate my methods, Ren murmured, as the little jade coin turned to dust between her fingers. Coins? Was that one of the thunders from the blue sky? What from where? Ren blinked her eyes, totally confused. It's General Zendar's famous weapon. He came up with it 30 years ago. He filled jade pieces up with his energy, and when he used them in battle, they were like little bombs, throwing them out and attracting thunderbolts from the sky. They are feared weapons of the vanguard. Really? She asked, flabbergasted, tilting her head to the side. I use them for cultivating. What? Yeah, they are great because they are filled with the perfect energy. Father has a bunch of them stored away. I sometimes go and steal a few. They help greatly when I deplete my energy. What? Nothing? Sure. When Mother says it's nothing, it's always something. She leaned closer to his face, and their nose almost touched. Feeling her breath, Lenore wholly spaced out, and he was sure his heart did stop for a moment there. I forgot to say, this is a big secret. Keep it to yourself, okay? If not, I'll divorce you. Lenore couldn't collect any clear thoughts and just nodded quickly, which resulted in their foreheads clanking together. Ouch! Ha 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 ha, idiot! Ren laughed, while Lenore himself held his forehead with a happy smile on his face. Come, let's take a bath, then have something for breakfast, she said, pulling him up, holding his hand, dragging him away, and as he followed her, looking at their intertwined hands, Lenore could tell he never felt this happy before. Chapter 10. Lenore and Ren. Please take this, Anya said to Zern, who was now holding a little box containing 10 coins. Lady Anya, this... It's nothing. It's for your and your father's protection. Use them well. You only need to inject energy into them and toss them out. On impact, they will explode. Easy to use, but beware, the blast radius is around 15 meters. Don't use it inside buildings, or you risk collapsing itself. Thank you, Lady Anya. Don't mention it. My lady. Hal suddenly appeared with a strange expression that caught her off guard. I'll be going. Zern bowed, not wanting to be in the way as he left. After he closed the door of the study, Anya raised her brows questioningly at Hal. What did she do now? I think you should go to the bath and quickly. The young lady wants to take a bath. What's so weird about that? With the prince? Oh. Anya nodded, but soon she froze like a statue. What? I came as soon as... But before he finished, Anya had already stormed out from her study. Possible? Anya very quickly arrived near the mansion's owner, Giant Bath, which would be more correct to call the family's own hot spring in the basement. She had already heard her daughter's words when she was nearing the double-sided, sand-colored wooden door. It was laid out with fine, polished lilac marble all around, and in the middle there was a circle-shaped pool filled with fresh, hot spring water that significantly rejuvenated the body. Come on, don't be a crybaby, just take it off. I already did. It's not a big deal. We will marry in half a dozen years anyway. But Lady Wren, this is immoral. Lady, zip it and take it off. Or do you take baths while clothed? Idiot, come here. No, don't struggle. It won't hurt. I'll just feel you up in the water to check if your energy points are at the same place as mine. Don't worry. I'll be gentle. No, I'm not ready. Stop kicking. Damn, I'll need to discipline you, it seems. Be a good husband, get in the water, and start meditating. Anya was frozen at the spot. But soon her face betrayed her amusement at how wild Ren could be. She quickly shook her head, storming in with a loud bang, and found the two kids on the ground, next to the pool, wrestling for Lenore's trousers. Ren was already free of clothing and sat on top of the prince, trying to pry it off his legs. Ah! Mom Ren gulped as she saw her mother's eyes. She knew she was in trouble. Office, now. Ren slowly let go of Lenore, who scrambled behind Anya with a completely red face, hiding his head in his own hands, but still took some peek between his fingers at Ren. It just looks worse than it is. Ahem. Mom? I should have done this before. It's my fault. Anya sighed. Then with a step, she was already behind her, bending her forward, and then... thwack! Yo! Don't use your Yo! Stop! Thwack! 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 Came the sound again and again, while Lenore just turned his back, crouching, not daring to look, only listening to Ren's cries. There. Now in! Anya shouted and threw her daughter into the water. Yo! It stings. It stings. You stay there. I'll be back in a minute. We go another round if I find you out of the water. Ren only nodded, shrinking back into the water, while Anya escorted Lenore out of the bath, soon arriving in the guest bedroom. I'm sorry, young prince. No worries, Lady Anya. It's my fault. That's true. You should control my daughter more. She resembles her father, eh? Don't let her take advantage of you like this. Smack her on the bottom, tie her up, and throw her out into the rain when she acts like this. She is stronger than me. Lenore blinked his eyes, trying to decide if what he heard was genuine, as he did not expect this kind of an answer. Then train twice as much. If that's not enough, then thrice. You are the boy. You will be the head of the family, and hopefully, even the empire. Anya scolded him, and then she left without waiting for an answer. Lenore just stood there, blinking before bursting into laughter. Since arriving at the general's mansion, he has never had this much fun. His eldest brother and second brother were utterly different in personality. The eldest, Fëanor, was kind and always spent time with his younger siblings at home. But Lacus, the second prince, mostly ignored everyone and acted as cold as an iceberg. Even towards his parents, the middle child, Regnar, was more like his father, a bit of a wild card, as he was talented in cultivation and paired with his good looks and title as prince. Many women were guests in his bedroom. It was a miracle that there was not a horde of bastards waiting to be accepted into the royal family wherever he went. Lady Anya is so much nicer than Mom. He sighed with a bit of sadness as he took off his remaining clothes and got into the guest room's bathtub. Mächen the Empress had a strange relationship with her sons. She never was close to any of them and kept some distance from them, which was apparent by the time Lenore was born. The only one she was focusing on was her husband, the Emperor. She often reprimanded him if he made some mistakes or acted out of line. She always followed every instruction he made, and even helped regulate and choose members for the harem he kept. Sk. It still hurts, Ren whispered as she squirmed at the dinner table while eating lunch with Lenore, who had now changed into a more comfortable white shirt and trousers. Lenore blinked his eyes, not knowing what to say to that, only stifling a little laugh. Laugh if you want. I won't be mad. Anyway, next time you won't escape. Anya cut in with a snort, silencing her daughter yet again. I thank you for the lunch, Lady Anya, and the companionship, Lady Wren, Lenore said, after finishing his meal and fixing his clothes. I don't want to intrude anymore, but I wish to visit more in the future. The little prince bowed towards them. Sure, and we can train and fight. It will be fun. Ren, continue eating. At least while your mouth is stuffed, you are silent. Anya scolded her immediately. Hey. Thank you again, Lady Anya. Lenore giggled, bowing again while she only smiled at him. Come, Prince. I'll escort you out, she said as she stood up. And soon Ren was left alone in the dining room, while outside a storm was brewing, coloring the skies gray, and the wind brought distant sounds of thunder with it. Nice weather, Ren murmured, and a slight smile crept up on her face, while her eyes started to shine. This is an opportunity. I should head out, and while I'm out there, Foo, you won't escape again. I'll check out your body. I need to know if these energy points are the same in you as in me. If yes, then I can devise a completely new system for body refinement. She giggled as she disappeared. Soon she was in her room, changing clothes and disappearing by the open window. After lunch, the weather soon turned from bad to worse as a wild storm struck the capital. The clouds lit up with bluish lightning bolts, continuously striking down everywhere, and thunder repeatedly rumbled like war drums. The wind was howling, and the rain poured from the skies as if someone had turned the showers onto maximum force and left it alone. Where were you? Rang out a cold voice when Lenore returned to the palace. And what is this you're wearing? Ah, Mother. Lenore bowed. Lady Anya gave it to me as my formal wear got dirty. By that slut? Mother, how can you... Lenore said with a shocked expression, but Maetion's only answer was a hard slap on his face. Don't utter that bitch's name in my presence. She dared to refuse the hand of the Emperor and tried to cuck him with that buffoon of a man. He just stood there, confused, as if it wasn't his mother before him. Soon he realized maybe the reason she was especially cold towards him, and quickly reprimanded him for every little mistake since he could remember, was his engagement with Ren. He held his burning face where the slap landed, and tears welled up in his eyes, trying to hold them back. The slap itself didn't hurt. Maetion was only a mortal, never learned to cultivate, and never had the affinity or talent for it. She was kept young by only the powers of the Emperor. If one day he decided not to supplement her with his energy, she would wither and die in a few days, as she long outlived any mortal's lifespan. Lenore's pain came from the heart. He couldn't put it anywhere, and his mind became hazed and messy, and he only wanted to cry. But not in front of Maetion, not in front of the Empress. Go to your room, Machen ordered, and Lenore just wobbled away, his good mood crushed to pieces, while he returned to his room in the side palace, ordering every servant to leave and let him be alone for a while. He was walking through the open path between his small garden and his abode when a thunderbolt lit up the skies, illuminating his pained little face that was wet with raindrops or tears. Nobody could tell by then. That was when a loud thump was heard, and a whisper came from behind him while small hands firmly hugged his waist. Ren was dressed as an assassin, in tight black clothes that stuck to her body from the wetness. Gotcha! Soon he was lifted in the air and landed on the jade tiles of his roof. Then, with another jump, they were already out of the palace. He immediately knew by the voice who it was, and his body went limp while whimpering sadly, surprising Ren. "Whoa, whoa, don't cry, it's me." She stopped with a panicky face as they stood on the roof of a building. She hurriedly put down Lenore, patting his shoulders. I know." The young prince could only sniffle now, looking fragile and hurt, trying not to cry, but to no avail. Did something happen? No. Liar. A bad one at that. If you don't want to tell, then don't. Ren sighed, but then she hugged Lenore in the rain, holding him close and stroking his head. Cry. It's good to cry. You need to let the emotions run wild once in a while. If you bottle it up, it will destroy you from the inside. Just cry, let it all out. I'll hold you, she whispered, and soon a loud wailing voice could be heard, mixed in the thunderstorm's symphony. Lenore didn't know how long he cried, but when his emotions finally settled, both of them were already wet to the bones. Ren only smiled at him before kissing his forehead. "Cry, baby," she whispered, making Lenore blush. "Why are you here?" "To abduct you and make secret evil experiments on you. Nobody would expect me to do it. The perfect crime." "Okay." "Wait, what?" I said, "Okay, let's do it." I was joking." Ren blinked her eyes, astonished by his quick answer. "I know." Oh, you good one. You're a quick learner." Ren grinned, and Lenore himself let out a small laugh. "So, what are you doing out here?" "Training. I have a dual affinity, lightning from Dad and water from Mother. Thunderstorms are my jam," she said, while stepping back theatrically, stretching her arms out while giving a pirouette as her whole body lit up with a violet hue, and sparks were dancing on her body. "Dual affinity," Lenore whispered as his admiration just grew again toward Ren. "Yup. It's my secret, so don't go spreading it, okay? Or I'll spank you." "I won't. I'll die first before betraying you." "Whoa, whoa, who wants you to die for me? If someone threatens you, just tell them." "Idiot," furrowed her brows, giving a small flick to his forehead. "I won't. I'll become strong and protect you." "From what?" Ren said, rolling her eyes. Seeing Lenore's earnest face in the rain, she smiled warmly at him. "Give me your hands." He didn't even think about it. He just stretched them out, and soon they were holding hands in the rain, standing on a rooftop. "I'm going to advance my whole body to the third refinement," Ren said, And before the shocked Lenore could say anything, she continued, I worked on this for a long time, and I found a way. It is harder. It is dangerous, but much quicker. So bear with it. The first time always hurts. Just as she finished her words, a lightning strike struck exactly on her head, like a tribulation. Her body greedily absorbed the energy, like a whale gulping down water, cruising through every vein in her body, traversing every synapse, inside and through her hands. It found a way into Lenore's body, making a complete revolution there too. Only this came from the clouds. Ugh, flinched the young boy, but he only bit his lips, letting out tiny drops of blood, but enduring the painful feeling as Ren's lightning-filled energy coursed through him before being absorbed back into her. He could feel Ren's constitution as he saw it inside his head, like an X-ray scan, and soon he could pinpoint tiny sphere-like points in her. 2 in her hollow of the knee, 2 in her elbows. Soon there appeared 1 below her belly button, 2 on her chest, forming a triangle. Then 1 in her neck, and the final 1 in her head where the brain is located. They radiated power through her whole body, washing it with energy and electricity, flowing like raging rivers, then passing over into his body. Soon he could see himself before his mind's eye, and the same minor, sphere-like points showed up exactly where they were in Ren, only they were more minor, for now. Success, Ren whispered, as she stopped cultivating and opened her eyes, which shone like otherworldly amethyst crystals, while her white hair stuck to her face. I saw it. I felt it, Lenore said excitedly, as he realized he had also reached the first refinement in every body part he had. Now you know, foo-foo-foo. This is what I realized. We are talented, Lenore. We can do this. We don't need to take the time to cultivate them individually. We need to strengthen them and attack the next level in one go. I need to consolidate my 3rd level and prepare for the 4th one. There won't be thunderstorms to help me out every time, so I need to figure out other ways. But now you will be here to help me. I'll do my best. You should. You need to solidify your new powers. Try to work out how to train with your affinity, and we can share experiences. Also, those, let's call them nodes I found, they are also capable of directing your inner energy and releasing it outwards. That's why I could perform that thunder kick back then. We must figure out how to use them and create new techniques. You are a genius, Ren? A true genius? Not really. Others would call me mad. Because they don't know you. And you do? Ah. Easy, don't tense up. It was a joke. Ahaha, I like you. You're fun. She laughed loudly, giving big slaps on his shoulder while her face radiated genuine happiness. Lenore only heard it until the words, I like you, and he almost blanked out after that. He felt his heart palpitating, almost bursting out of his chest, and he knew, come storms and winds, he wouldn't abandon Ren, no matter what happened in the future.